Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings. All right guys, all right start of the week. There was definitely, few setups didn't work at the morning, couple of losers, but we navigated the markets pretty well. We saw that the rejections of the pre-market highs. We saw the 10 a.m. rule clockwork. We shorted the market at 10 a.m. when we saw the clouds break. So overall, decent execution. I personally avoided the chop after the morning trades. I did recommend that to the community to not chase any of those midday chop. So there was nothing much. Anyways, we will discuss PDD mega short every day. We have last few days we have been having some mega runners every day. Today was PDD, and then were some day 2, day 3 setups were really solid longs. We did have some your losers. We tried to long NVDA, that did not work, but we managed it well. The semiconductor sold off all day. Early warnings on the semiconductor short, so we will recap those as well. And so I'm going to recap that. So anyways, before we start the recap, just do a quick introduction for anybody who's new to me, new to my YouTube, new to my community, or new to my my Twitter. So guys, all these trade recaps and all these teachings are from any trade ideas that I discuss in the community, or I share it on Twitter, X, or anything I share with you guys in my past YouTube videos. We do not trade random. We trade fixed setup, fixed system. My fixed system, thousands of traders use my Ripster EMA clouds to trade consistently day in, day out. Based upon that system, we trade fixed setups every day. There are fixed setups for everything: gap down, gap up. Even for swing trading, I have fixed setups. For any investing, we have fixed setups. So if we have these fixed setups, right? Every day, me and my team, we are up early. We make a pre-market game plan based upon any news we have. So this morning we had a bunch of the plays. DQ, PDD were our earning plays that were on watch. Then we had some news on Amazon, NVIDIA, Boeing, Apple, among others. There was LULU was on watch for solar ENPH. So this was our game plan watch list. In addition to the game plan, I also share what I call my Ripster day 2, day 3 strategies. These strategies are based out of my day 2, day 3 setup. I did a free webinar for everybody on Twitter. This webinar is part of my community. You can join it and watch it and understand how to play these setups. Today there was some solid winners on day 2, day 3: CAVA, BIDU, Zoom, Snow. Those were the ones which triggered. We will recap them and see how they went from the day 2, day 3 setups. And apart from that, I also share the daily levels. We have SPY, QQQ, IWM, SPY, Apple, Microsoft, SMCI. All these are the market dependent plays. These plays we play every day, irrespective of any news. These are based upon the market. They'll move with market. They will move with SPY, QQQ. So for example, if today we were bearish after 10 a.m., we could short the market. We could buy the puts based upon these levels, these support resistance levels, and our EMA cloud system. We will recap few of those. We will recap the market today. So and we also share crypto levels for coin, MSTR, anything based on crypto stocks. If crypto stocks are strong, we trade those. So anyways, I'm on voice usually first few hours of the market open. If there is something that's a really bullish or bearish or really trend market, I'm usually on the voice all day. Otherwise, I continue to guide my community after first few hours on the voice. I continue to guide them on through my alerts feed. And we have our trading floor where hundreds and more than 1,000 traders are sharing their ideas, trading long and short all day. So we'll look at some of the ideas from the community as well today. So anyways, that was introduction. Let's start with the recaps. Let's start with the first play of the day. All right, so let's look at the markets, right? We usually nail the market direction. We are usually pretty good because our system is so clean and our system gives us such a clean direction to follow that we don't really have to guess, right? At a certain point, we know we are completely bearish and we try to long. We do try to long. This morning, we were trying to long the markets, but it's an amateur move, right? If you left the first candle, if you left the amateur move like I teach every time, you would have made money on the short side, right? You didn't even need to go long side, right? So this was the first breakout. You see this candle, it's an amateur move and no surprises here. and QQQ amateur move was also trying to hold. But if you understand what's going on here, so this is the 1 hour MTF clouds. Let me expand it a bit so you guys can see it clearly. So this is a 1 hour MTF cloud right here on the Qs, and also Qs is holding the support. A lot of times I get asked about MTF clouds. Let me see. So the MTF clouds are nothing but daily EMA clouds on the intraday charts. You need to have two replications. You need to go to the indicators, and then you need to go to Ripster MTF clouds. You should see that in the community Ripster MTF clouds. You just click it twice. You have two replicated in your trading view window, and then you take it, you one of that, you set it up as 3450 EMA one line 3450, and the second email you don't really need the second one, so you can go to the styles, you can deselect it. I don't really need the 1 hour 512s, I only need 3450, so you need 3450, and then 1 hour resolution, the source is high low 2, and you deselect the EMA2. So that's the 1 hour cloud you need to have. And then we have the daily clouds, which is 2021 and 5055. Resolution is daily, source is HL2. You can deselect the EMA lines. I just want to see the clouds, and then you can have those right like this, right? Daily clouds there. You can select both of those clouds. So anyways, so that's how you select the clouds, MTF clouds, and you can see that Qs were right on the MTF clouds right here, and SPY was right, breaking the 3450 clouds. So initially we are looking at the market, it's looking little bouncy, little strong, and we are watching to long something. We will talk about NVDA, so we were trying to long the NVDA, but after the first 10-15 minutes after the amateur move, right away we see the rejections. You see here, I say rejections, I give a warnings, cautious on NVIDIA AMD long, cautious on the semiconductors, and then we break lower on the Qs under the MTF cloud. I tell everyone no long. I'm on the voice. I tell them if you want to scalp short, that is okay. SPY is holding up, but even SPY gave at 10 a.m. My 10 a.m. concept, the golden concept I teach again and again and again. The 10 a.m. sell off on SPY, and here comes Qs. Semis are heavy. I even tweeted about it. I can show you that. So you can see that I even tweeted about the rotation out of semis in the morning at 10 a.m. Although in my community, I told everyone that we are rejecting, right? You can see these rejections. 9:45, that was the first signal that we are rejecting. And remember what? If you're not going over the pre-market highs, there is no long. So there is a short, and your risk is over the pre-market highs, or your risk is high of the candle, opening candle. So that's why I tell everybody we are short. And you see that MTF cloud, Ripster MTF cloud is breaking down, and then we are breaking down 3450s here on the 10-minute 3450. So we break 10-minute 3450, we flush to, that's how much, $2 flush. The puts went nicely 30-40%. QQQ, some of the lotos almost 100%. QQQ flushed from 478 to 473. There was like a $5 flush. Beautiful trade on Q. So you can trade anything on that flush. You can either trade the puts. I can show you the 474 put. So this 474 put went from like $3 all the way to $6, almost 100% on that. So if you traded, if you invested $3,000, even if you risk like $1,000, you could easily made like 3,000, because you are not risking all of that. You can risk somewhere here, 320s under the clouds. These are the option charts. You must use option charts. These are from Thinkswim. I'll do separate video on that, but just wanted to show you the move on Qs that you could make over 100% there. And I usually scalp SOXS when semiconductors are weak. We'll talk about SOXS in a bit, or you can do SQQQ. You can long that. SQQQ went from $8, 805 all the way to 830. So that was not a bad trade in the morning on SQQ. Or you can do SPXS, which is a short of SPY that went from 710. It doesn't really have much range, but you can trade those. So it all depends upon you what you want to trade. Short and long. You want to trade the leverage ETFs. You want to trade the options, or you want to trade the shares of the ETF alone. So anyways, so this was a winner. As you can see the timestamped comments here. My target I gave on the SPY QQQ were the MTF here, MTF target, and QQQ's target I gave was 473.70. We actually met more than that target. So all the targets met. The SPY QQQ was a decent winner. If you just trade SPY QQQ, you had a good day in the morning in the community. A lot of traders were done with this and they moved on. There was no really chop if you just traded SPY QQQ. It was very simple, easy trade to short the market this morning with confidence. There was no reason to not make money this morning on SPY QQQ trade. And let's go to the next one. All right, so before I go to the semiconductor short, I would like to recap NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, was strong over the EMA clouds. That's fine, but let's look here, right? So NVIDIA, we have a level of 131, right? It's right this level, and it's a pre-market high. So we know we are long here, that's fine, but we know the confirmation will be over the pre-market highs. So when it's pushing over right over here, that's when I tell my community it's fine to long. And when we see a little push over the pre-market highs, I tell my community it's a confirmed long. But right away, when QQQ SPY rejects 944s, right away I see the NVIDIA reject as well, right? So right away as it breaks 3450, you get out, take a loss, right? So it's like a dollar loss or less than dollar loss. And because we keep our losers small, right? If we did not cut NVIDIA right here, we could have lost a lot. And guess what? NVIDIA, right then, what was our lower level on NVIDIA? Lower level was 129, 128.56, 129, 128.56, right here. All those levels gave up. So NVIDIA was an easy short. So you change your buys, right? You change your buys right away. Even though we were long, take a loss, that's fine. I made the money back shorting QQQs, but you could short NVIDIA as well. Let's look at the semiconductors. So what was happening when market was weak? If you watch the semiconductor, so this is a semiconductor ETF, and we have all the semiconductors on our watch list every day. We have them on watch list. We have Taiwan Semi, NVIDIA, ASLM, ASML, AMD, we have AVGO, we have ARM, we have SMCI, we have all those on our watch list. We have the levels. Look here. I give the levels every day on those. ARM support 133.68, SMCI support 608, 603.88, right? AVGO support and all the support levels here. NVIDIA 153, AMD 129. So once the market is weak, we could literally short anything, and that's what our community does, because that's what our repeatable system tells us. And you can either long SOXS, or you can short SOXL, or you can just buy the puts on the semiconductor. So anyways, let's look at all the systems, right? When NVIDIA broke down, right? We already talked about it. Look at SMCI. The moment SMCI broke those two levels that I gave, 608, 603, it was bearish. Look under the MTF clouds. Also see how SMCI broke under the MTF clouds, right? So that was another beautiful short. SMCI, ARM, right? Look at 1 hour MTF breakdown. Look at the daily MTF breakdown. The levels on ARM were 133.68 right there. Look at AVGO. When it breaks down, you short it. So you just focus on what you want to short. You want to short the Qs, you want to take the puts on SMH, whatever you want to do. You want to short NVIDIA, although SMCI was the best short today in the market, right? It was the best short. And how do you get that confidence on doing those shorts? How do you get that confidence? The confidence you get from the market. Qs are breaking down, right? Qs are breaking down. The pivots that you draw in the pre-market, right? All these pivots, take any pivot which broke today on all the semiconductors, ARM, SMCI, AMD, AVGO, it flushed. The puts literally went from 30, 50, 60 to 80%. Easy trade all day. AVGO faded all day from 165 to 158. They have been running lately, but beautiful breakdown on AVGO. Taiwan Semi was also nice breakdown in the morning, but the best fade today was SMCI. I was talking about this SMCI fade. Let me talk about that again. So if you see that, there was this 1 hour level on SMCI. That's why it's so important. There was this 1 hour level. How many times did we bounce from this 600 area? Many times. Once, twice, thrice, and fourth time it did not hold. More times the support is tested, bigger the breakdown, and that's what we saw today. Huge flush on SMCI, all the way, since from my levels all the way to like $50 short there on SMCI. Such a good short. The puts went 100% on SMCI as well. So that was a beauty short on all the semis today in the community. You can see that I've been talking about NVDA, AMD, SAMIs, heavy, SOXL, always a good long, right? So we discussed that in the community as well, and the most of the community was enjoying the shorts on all these setups. Let's go back and we see there, we were short all Prakash, AB Guy, ML, everybody was short, the Calm Trader, Justin Brown, all of them were short on SMCI today. So beautiful trade in the community on the semiconductor shorts, SOXL, SMH, SMCI, ARM. Use the levels I give you. Make sure you know those levels. You focus on those trades. This morning when market was selling, let's talk about Meta. I went through all the tickers, all the Mag 7, and I was trying to see which one is the weakest. What I realized was Meta was the weakest. And what was our levels on Meta? Our levels on Meta were 525, 524s from the pre-market planning. And you can see that this was a huge level. Once that level goes down, and it's a confirmed short, right? And not only that, in the community we saw a put flow on Meta, which I mentioned on the voice as well. You can see that at 10 a.m. the ghost board alerted these the new tool we are using in the community, these 520 puts that came in. So there was repeat bearish, those puts started to come in, that came in at 10 a.m. Even after that we faded to 515. So beautiful short empty in the community, and the target was MTF. Look exactly where it's bouncing, MTF Clouds, Meta, beautiful short in the community, A plus, along with all other shorts, right? When market is heavy, you need to find opportunities. You need to see what is the weakest, and you need to see what will give you the best risk to reward in for the trade, right? We know Meta has been running crazy for a long time, and Meta is also breaking a big 1 hour level. Never forget to draw your levels. Look at how important this level was, right? You can clearly see how important this level on Meta was. So once that gave up, Meta faded, we got the option flow, which gave us a little more confidence. So that was a beautiful trade, Meta fade in the community. All right, let's look at the next one. So remember, all these market shorts are because the market was heavy. Now let's look at Tesla, right? So let's look at Tesla, and when we'll see that so Tesla was, again, if you see that it was bearish right out of the gate. What were our levels on Meta? Our levels on Meta were, Tesla 219, 20 and 219. Basically 219 area was our level. And you see that this 219 level exactly matched with the MTF 1 hour 3450 clouds, right? So it matched with 1 hour 3450 clouds. One second. Yeah, and that's when I saw that, and I told everybody it's bearish, do not long. I was on the voice, do not long. It was the first one that started to give up, but then right away the Teslas flushed with the market at 10 a.m. So remember the 10 a.m. concept, it flushed right with the 10 a.m. I talk about it a lot. And then Tesla, the target I gave was the lower MTF, and that's what we really hit. We faded from my 219 level all the way to 212's areas to the daily MTF cloud, from the 1 hour MTF to the daily MTF. What a beautiful trade. Tesla short in the community, just a beauty. All right, now let's talk about some of the news plays. So these were the market plays today because market was a short. So we had a lot of shorts happening in the morning on the market. But let's look at some of the news plays, how those news plays panned out. Let's look at PDD. So let's go back and see what was our game plan that I shared with everyone in the pre-market. The plan on PDD was disappointing second quarter results. That's all we wanted to know. And the support was 112.50 and 110, and resistance was 118, 127. The bias was bearish to neutral, but if it curls over 512, then we have to be cautious. But let's see what happens. As soon as the market opens, I'm on the voice, and I mentioned to everyone on the voice that 1 second here, let me see. All right, let me just show it in the screenshot and I'll go there. So so you already saw that what we had about on the pre-market plan on PDD, 112.5s, 110s. There was two support levels that we were watching, and if you look at PDD, right away it started to break down under this 110 support level. There was no buyer at all. When I saw this weakness, I was on the voice. I told everybody PDD is fading. PDD is going to 102. It's not a buy, it's a short. It's going to 102. And right after my mentions of that, a little bit after that, PDD started to fade. So 105 is which I first said on the voice, and then it hit 105, and I told everybody make sure you lock some profits. Then we have room 200 and 102 today. So you can see that at 9:34, I told everyone we have room 200 and 102. And I kept reminding everyone it's still a short, still a short, still a short. Even at 9:50, even at 10 a.m. when we hit 102, our target was met. I still told everybody we will hit 100 because it's heavy. And once we hit 100, I told everyone that you can roll to further with profit, right? What do you mean by roll? So PDD has fallen from, let's say it has fallen from that 110 all the way to 100. That's a $10 fade. Even if you got at 107, it's a $7 fade. You probably made, if you invested $2,000 in puts, you probably made $2,000 already, or 3,000. If you were short 1,000 shares, you probably made $5,000-6,000 already on that short. Now take chunk of money out of it, put it in another put. Let's say you made money. Now you use the sum of the profit, you buy 99 puts or 95 puts. I was in 99 puts. So those puts, even those puts went further, right? 105 puts went 300%. You could take the profit from 105 and then you can roll into it. And if you see that, PDD went on to hit 96, and that 99 put went another 50%. You even made more money after that $100 fade. And when there was bouncing, I told everybody there is no long unless and until PDD gets back over 100. Right? So what happens right in the middle of the day, right at 11:10 a.m. Let's go back. Let's see if I can show you guys. I said no reason to cover. It's still under 512. It's still 100 cycle level. 100 cycle level, right? And since I mentioned that, because you see that it was rejecting this, it was 8-9 ribbon, it faded back $4. Right? So that was a trade versus 100. Every time it breaks that, you trade in the morning, then you trade this midday setup. And after that, it started curling and then we got out. It was, it's crazy. Just algos were crazy. But not only that, we also had PDD puts that came in when we were trading at lows. That 90 puts came in for this week. And those went another, probably 50 to 100%. You can see that they came in, so they gave us another conviction. So we have these tools running in the community. So a lot of PDD was simply amazing trade. This is the one that made our day. Of course, the market weakness helped us as well, but you can clearly see the money to be made in the PDD short all day. Beautiful trade. Let's go to the next one. So next one we're going to look at is GH. That was one of our news plays as well. Let's go back to GH. So GH had open market agreement to sell 400 million shares. Whenever they're selling shares, it's always very bearish. So I told everyone bearish buys to short the pops. 27.12 was the trigger to short. Right away it broke down of that. I told everyone that it's even if you were shorting, even if you didn't need me from the pre-market plan, people are already short. So it faded from 27.12 all the way to 25.43. I did remind everybody right at open that it's a short the pops. Even after I reminded it, it faded another $1. So there was easy $1.50 to be made in this short. I don't know how the puts went, but definitely $1 to $1.50 share profit on GH. Let's go to the next one. So I'm now going to talk about the day 2, day 3 setups. So day 2, day 3 setups are just built on two principles. One principle is that anything that has a good news last day or previous 2 days, or a bad news last day or previous few days, they always make a move. There's some more variables that I discuss in detail in the webinar, but day 2, day 3 setups are one of my most consistent trading strategies, and sometimes it provides really good winners. As you see, we will talk about CAVA, BIDU, Zoom, and Snow on all these plays, and CAVA, BIDU, and Zoom and Snow, we will talk about them. So let's look at CAVA first, right? So CAVA 121 was support pivot, resistance pivot was 123, JP Morgan 90, profit target, Loop Capital 122, price target, right? The new price target. So once it breaks the resistance pivot 123 right here, it's a confirmed long, and CAVA goes on, and your risk is under the clouds. I cover with hundreds of examples in other setups, but you can see that when it goes over and it continues to push, I can show you my timestamp guidance. CAVA was CAVA was going for from yesterday highs was the first target, then it crossed that. 128 was the second target, then it broke later in the day and you exit. But there was a lot of money to be made on CAVA from 123 all the way to 128, at least $4 to $5 per share profit. A lot of guidance in the community on CAVA today. RGV was on top of it, MEH was on top of it actually. You can see MEH was right up the open, RGV was together. Beautiful guidance in CAVA today in the community. A lot of money made on CAVA even when market was tanking. Very high probability setup, extremely well done on the trading floor by the whole community there. Very proud of them, right? Beautifully done. So let's talk about the next one. Next one we're going to talk about is Snow. Again, very simple strategy based upon the EMA clouds and my levels. Snow was my number 4 day-to-day setup, 115, 116, 21. Those were 2 levels. And Snow also triggered long by the system right at the open over the pivots and go. And the Snow long went for us from from the 34.50, 116 area all the way to 120 area. That was an easy $4 per share long. And this is no BS, this is no fluke. These are repeatable setups. Our system turned green right here, right? I personally can't trade everything. Of course, I don't trade everything, but the traders, some of my traders just focus on day 2, day 3. Some of the traders focus on the trade open. Some of the traders focus on the midday setups. We have just so many opportunities, and you just want to focus. Some of my traders don't even trade anything. They just trade SPY QQQ. Some of the traders in community just focus on day 2, day 3 setup. And look how many opportunities and how many winners we have. And once the system triggers, mostly it pays well. When it does not, let's say Snow did not work, what would you have lost? You would have lost $1. But if Snow worked, you made $4. So that is the beauty of the system. That's why our system is one of the best out there, which provides you such a repeatable winners. All right, let's look at some of the next setups now. So let's look at some of the next setups. Let's run the Zoom. Zoom was our day 3, day 4 setup. And you can clearly see the cloud signal long. What were my levels on Zoom? My levels on Zoom were 70.22. The yellow ones were my top day 1, day 2 setups. And you can see that right away it triggers long, and it's a nice win there. Other one we can look at is BIDU. Let's look at BIDU. So BIDU was a little different. So I cover a lot of these different day 2, day 3 setups. Some are day 2, day 3 reversals. Some are day 2, day 3 continuation longs. I covered everything in detail in the webinar. But BIDU was like Snow. It was bearish to bullish reversal. And if I show you the levels on a day 2, day 3 setups, it was 85 and 86. The price target increased loop capital. Jeffries raised 139, and Baidu also triggered long from 850 to 87.20. Easily you make $1 to $1.50 there on Baidu long, another winner in the community. All right, now let's look at one of the day two losers, right? So of course, sometimes we will have day two losers as well, but this day two loser is pretty clear actually, right? If you waited on the amateur move, you could have, you would have avoided the loser and you could have actually shorted it, because if you see that I mentioned the long. So so you see that the amateur candle, right? That's what I keep teaching you. Amateur candle. So amateur candle was bullish. That's fine. It pulls back. It tried to long at the 512s, but it right away gave up. Right away take the loss. Move on. Don't look back. I did mention to the community day to long versus the 620. But as long as the 620 risk level hit, take a loss, move on, leave it. So let's look at another one. Although this one was, it was a great short, and again, it was we were looking for the long, but again, long was only the amateur move. If you waited on the amateur move, you got a nice short. So the plan on Micron was, let's go to the pre-market plan and see what was the plan on Micron. I was like, trade versus the 100, right? 100 is a support, resistance is 103. Trade versus 100, bearish so far. But if 100 holds, then we will look for a bounce. So what's happening was, it's trying to push versus the 100 on the amateur move. We are trying to long it, but right away it rejects, right? Remember when I told market is heavy, semis are heavy. So right away they gave the warning. So you take the loss on Micron right away, and if you short it right away, and you short it more when it fades the hundreds. So Micron was a long loser. If you notice that a lot of these losers were in amateur moves, right? If we did not trade the amateur move, we probably made it a winner. So Micron was an amateur move loser, and then it was a fade with the market, with the semiconductors. Beautiful trade. There are some other plays in the community. They were kind of working nicely at the open. Let's look at them. Let's look at First Solar and ENPH. First Solar was a solar move on the rate cut. They were on the watch. The resistance breakout was 237.35. ENPH was 125.50. You see ENPH breaks out right away of the levels we gave in the pre-market, and right away it pushes. ENPH pushes from that breakout. It pushes almost $4, more than $4. Let's look at an FSLR, right? So let's go back to FSLR. FSLR, the level was 237.35. Right away at the open, breaks that level, hold it, pushes to 244. So even that one moved decent, on the shares. But of course the market was heavy, and FSLR even gave up later in the day. ENPH also gave up later in the day after 10 a.m. So it's a 10 a.m. morning, 10 a.m. trades. If you traded in the mornings, they work pretty nicely if you followed those two levels. And you have to watch the market, right? You cannot trade blindly. So so those was ENPH and FSLR. Okay, so let's look at next one. Let's see what else was on there. There was LULU. So let's look at LULU. See LULU. What was LULU saying? Okay, LULU. So LULU plan was to long. Here you go. The plan was to long if the clouds hold. 270.50 was the resistance pivot. LULU was okay. It held the clouds a little choppy. It did end up go to 274, but not a clean setup to trade. I didn't trade it, but our bias kind of worked. But it was not really clean setup to trade. The volume was less. It was a little choppy. In comparison to the other names. All right, let's look at the Qualcomm. So you see that we had a bias that we will long over the MTF clouds. Qualcomm. I've been watching the Qualcomm because all the clouds are together. The daily cloud, 1 hour cloud, all of them are squeezed together right here on Qualcomm. That's why we're interested in Qualcomm, but it also makes Qualcomm a beautiful short, right? Beautiful short. I just explained you to the MTF Cloud in start of these videos, because once it's breaking down, it's extra confidence to short buy the puts. It was a $4 short. Even if you go back, look at my levels, we were pretty clear on AVGO, right? 165.31, 164.68. Once those levels were grown, AVGO was a beautiful short in the community, right? So you can see that, right? Those levels just go away. AVGO. So I just wanted to show you the power of the MTF clouds. Beautiful move there on Qualcomm as well. So that was great. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys had a decent day. Remember, you have to avoid the midday chop. Most of the money was made in the morning. After that, it was all on midday chop. All right. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.